before. If if you just happened to be in one of the lessons before everything kind of went weird with, we'll see if that works, with the virus that's going around. Uh, you might have done this. If you didn't, it's not the end of the world. I know things are kind of crazy, guys. I know this is live from my room, so it's awesome. Somebody said I sounded like Matt yesterday. That's kind of funny. I have to laugh about that. They're like, "Why do you sound like Matt?" A lot of it is because since I'm in my own bedroom here, there's a lot more stuff here that can absorb sound. I've got a lower ceiling, a wooden floor, so it's not going to be as echoey, and that's why my voice may sound different. So when we talk about things being for the birds, we're focusing more on bird beaks. And as we are kind of starting to see, spring is actually kind of showing up in Nebraska, but Mother Nature's kind of going to laugh at us this weekend and say, haha, here's some snow and rain for you. Awesome. I actually woke up, I think it was Sunday or Monday. No, whenever it decided to have that little brief bit of snow, I think last weekend, it was into Sunday morning. It was hilarious. It was actually thundering, lightning, and it was raining down sleet pellets. Weirdest thing, Mother Nature. And then yesterday was 85. So that's very Nebraska. So when we talk about birds, we all know that birds are completely different. We all know that every bird is completely different. And yes, when you hear the ding dongs, it's not you guys being ding dongs coming in. It is the fact that you guys are actually coming in and going, and that's okay. The biggest thing that we focused on was we focused on characteristics, things that we can see and notice about objects, individuals, animals, all of those things. And in the case of birds, okay, we've got robins coming back around again. Again, the difference between a male cardinal and female cardinal, you know that males are red, usually brighter and showier. Females are kind of dull and drab colored. Sorry, ladies, it's a flashy things that males do in nature. It's just kind of one of those things. Sorry. And so when we talk about what characteristics you have, being shorter, taller, eye color, hair color, all of those things, they're things that you inherit, things that you get from your parents. There's nothing you can do about it. There is nothing that can be controlled. You can't tweak it. You can't change it. Yes, you could dye your hair. Yes, you could put in colored contacts. It's not going to change it. I'm 5'9", 180 roughly. Okay, I'm not going to be 6'10" and a power forward in the NBA. This is just not going to happen. Although it'd be awesome, not going to happen. So when we look at this, guys, we're just stuck with all of these things. Okay. And so when we talk about these unique characteristics, it's going to be slow. Okay. We talk about what characteristics allow you to survive better than others. And we call that an adaptation. For us as humans, by far the most important adaptation we have are these things right here. Our thumbs. Okay. Our thumbs are so very, very important to us because they allow us to do very interesting things. From things like grabbing a hammer and smashing things, all right, which is always a good thing. If I took this pair of scissors and I can sit here and smash things with it, but I can also take this pair of scissors, I can grip it very carefully, and I can make these tiny, delicate cuts. All right, I could even take, if I could find, nope, can't find it. If I take this little pair of tweezers, okay, I happen to have this pair of tweezers right here. Can I pick up something as fine as a hair with this pair of tweezers? And the answer would be, you bet. Okay. I could sit here and if I wanted to, I could be like, be fancy. I can sit here and pluck my eyebrows and make them look all fancy and sculpted if I really wanted to, but that's not my thing. But we could sit there and use these tweezers to grab onto one little hair, pluck it and pull it with just our thumbs. Okay. That's the one thing that allows us to be better suited for our environment, allows us to do more with tool construction, allows us to do more with higher level thinking things. And that is one of the big ideas that they think that humans were able to change and grow such a high level intelligence is because these opposable thumbs. Now, the one thing that's down here that's kind of being mentioned, what's called niche. Some people call it a niche. Either are okay. It's something that you can do that's unique than other people. All right. So in this case, we're going to be looking at bird beaks and how does it play into survival. So if you were doing this in a group, and if we were in our regular classes, we would have groups of about 4 or 5. So if you do this with your family, okay, just be careful. Don't be mean to each other. Be kind. Don't stab each other. That would be awesome. Thanks for not stabbing each other. Um, it can be a little bit vicious. If you've ever played spoons, that can be a little bit crazy. Um, that can be vicious. Okay, we don't want anybody getting, impaled by objects. Please don't. And you'd be just following these directions carefully, because um, what would happen is somebody would get super frustrated doing this and destroy the fun for everybody. Excuse me, sorry. And what you're trying to do is figure out how much food can you actually eat as a little bird. Okay, you're going to become little birds, and we're all going to have unique, different beaks. All right. So I'm going to switch cameras here real quick. We're going to go take a look at this. I see we have some little birdies there. Awesome. I'm going to switch to my camera down here real quick. All right. So let's say that this is um, my bird feeder. Here's my bird feeder right here. All right. And if you have a plate or whatever, that's fine. If you have your own, great. If you have a brother or sister with you, you can do this. It's hilarious, a lot of fun, and you would have things to choose from. Let's say I have a pair of tweezers. Don't use somebody's good pair of tweezers. That'd be gross. Um, I've got a straw. If you happen to have like an eyedropper or a pipette, that works. The best way to use this straw is going to be to put this on here, and kind of like when you suck up the water and then you put your finger on top of it, that will work great and be awesome. I've got a spoon here. This is a little bit different than most spoons. It's actually quite a bit deeper. And then I have my toothpick. The only thing that I'm missing, the weird thing I don't have around in my house, which I was surprised, I don't have a clothespin, a wooden clothespin. If you happen to have a wooden clothespin, great. I see somebody. Yep, looks like Sydney's got one over there. Awesome. Great. If you happen to have a clothespin, awesome. Somebody had a neat idea yesterday. If you have a pair of chopsticks, that could be kind of fun to try too. See how good you are at this activity with a pair of chopsticks. All right. So I've got all my materials here. I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to bring in my cohort in crime, actually my better half. She's going to help me out when we get going here. And we're going to figure out what object we're going to do. Now, what we usually do, and the teachers who are here, the person who usually gets to decide is the person who is the youngest. Now, she's younger than I am, so we can let her pick first. I guess I'll be nice. What are you going to pick? You going to pick the same thing as yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to pick the same thing as yesterday. What a cheater. All right. Now, I'm going to put myself up to the whims of you guys, and I'm going to let you guys vote if you want me to take the spoon, the toothpick, or the straw. Now, I can tell you, it'll be interesting. I see a vote for a straw. Interesting. You don't even know what food is going to be out there. Go ahead and type in that little chat box there. Straw. There's 2 for straw. Looks like I'm stuck with the straw. 3 for straws. Boy, they like to make me stuck. Oh, Hobble's giving me the toothpick. All right. 3 straws, 4 straws, 5 straws. Well, they just like to let me suffer. 5 straws, 6 straws, straws. Looks like straws for everybody. All right. Oh, two for toothpicks. Boy, no one's going to be nice and give me the spoon like I did yesterday. Gosh, you guys are literally the meanest ever. All right. So I'm going to go with the straw. Let me fill that up real quick before we go.
Yep.
All right. So if this were in our regular classroom, your teachers would put a random assortment of food on there. What it could be would be interesting. I've got, oh goodness. What do you want to start with? Worms? Okay, we're going to start with gummy worms. I happen to have a giant thing of gummy worms at home. Gummy worms are great. You can use gummy bears. Marshmallows are great. Mini M&Ms, awesome. Okay, so I've got my straw here. All right, I'm going to do my best, but I need to use my straw the way it's intended. I can't sit here and push this worm off to the side. Yes, sometimes birds do that, but if I'm going to get this into my mouth, this is my bird's mouth, I actually have to get this worm on my straw and actually get it into my bird mouth. Okay? I can't use my thumbs, I can't use my wings. I've got to use my mouth the way it's intended. The other fun way to do this, to make this a challenge, is you have to use your non-dominant hand. See, I'm a right-hander, okay? This is my L for my left hand. I'm going to use my left hand. And the other thing is put your right hand behind your back. It makes it much more fun. Makes it much crazier, and makes it fair. Now, you can't be pushing the plate all over. There's no bumping people. Your job is to pick up as much food as you can and put it in front of you in 20 seconds. So it's kind of like little 20-second bursts of fun. So are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? All right, here we go. Let's see how well I do. Me versus my wife in this. On your mark, get set, go. And come on, almost. I can do this. I can do it. I got it. I totally got it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. All right. Time's up. So there's her pile. All right. Here's my pile. Obviously, tweezers were a success. My straw was an epic failure. All right. Well, that didn't work out so good. Let's try a different food. Let's try a different food. All right. Pick another one. What do we have handy? All right. Oh, we've got some Cheerios. This looks like fun. I think I can do this. I can do this. All right. So obviously she was able to eat with her tweezers. Hey, tweezers. With my straw, I'd probably be starving. Okay. So we're going to try this again with a different food. On your mark, get set, go. I can do this. I can do this. I got it. I got it.
Power of positive thinking.
I can do this. I got it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, time's up. All right, take a look. I just threw my straw there. There's her pile of food. And again, what's my pile of food? Not awesome. I'm probably dying of starvation, or at least getting really, really, really close to being a dead bird. And that's not much fun. Thank you. I'm gonna at least be kind here. What else do we got? Let's do a couple more. All right, what else do we have?
Okay, lady, unmute yourself. Did you join it?
I've got some random mute people.
Did you join it?
And mute. There we go. I muted all of our silly people. They're coming in. They're muting. They should be muted, but we'll be okay. All right.
There we go.
Everybody hear me okay? Good? All right. So now I've got some Pringles. We'll see how well this goes. I'm going to be awesome. All right. More power, positive thinking. All right. Ready, set, go. I can do this. I can do this. I can definitely do this. I totally got this. I've got this. I've got it. No, no, no. 3, 2, 1. Totally. Man. Okay. Her pile of chips. My pile of chips. I am basically dead. Now, since I see Mr. Floth is there, and I'm not going to be picking on Mr. Floth, I just happened to see him. When it comes to the potato chips, Mr. Floth informed me of a rule that has been around for years and years and years, older than me being at the ESU. It's going to happen when somebody gets a hold of the toothpick and has to do the chips. Well, you can kind of do this with the Pringles if you do this carefully. I can get it to work, but no, well, kind of. I can, nope. All right, so obviously I did it yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing again today. Dang, nabbit. I blame Canada. All right, so if I do this, I could probably get, no. All right, so right now I busted 3 chips. Is my frustration level going through the roof? You bet. So what would happen if somebody was being super aggressive and super competitive? Stab, 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 stab. Okay, don't be that bird. Don't be that person, all right? Make it fun. It's going to be frustrating. Some of you will be successful. Some of you will be a failure. Obviously, me as the straw, I'm failing and failing miserably. All right, should we go to the last one?
Sure.
We'll go to the last one. We'll get done just a little bit early today. Now, let's say that I wanted to change what kind of birds. I'm tired of seeing, well, I shouldn't say it that way. That's not kind. I shouldn't say I'm tired of seeing the type of tweezer birds that's over here. That's being really, really, that'd be, hang on. If I said I was tired of seeing her, that'd be really mean, wouldn't it? Probably shouldn't say that. She'll probably hurt me or something. All right, so let's say that I want to find some different birds, or maybe I want to introduce a different type of bird into the ecosystem. Or maybe I notice that there aren't as many seed-eating birds or worm-eating birds, but I'm starting to see more liquid drinking birds, like hummingbirds. So if I were to do this, all right, ready? Ready? On your mark, get set, go. Yeah, go. Haha, go, go. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, what's up now? Yeah, what's up now? Oh, look at this. Whoop. Oh yeah, look at all that water I can pick up. Yeah, ha, ha. Yeah, you're suffering now. Ha. Anyway, so if I were to change it to a liquid, now I, as this straw bird, have a big advantage over even a spoon. Can the spoon get in here very well? Kind of. It's a very small feeder, but the scoop part is very hard to get into. Okay, a toothpick, you might get a couple drops. Okay, if this was like sugar water, like a can of pop, you'd be kind of in a gigantic pile of suffering. I mean, you just put those there. All right, you're good. All right, everybody, say thank you to my lovely, helpful wife. She was helpful. She's leaving there. All right, it's a good thing she's around. She can help me be a bird. All right. Yeah, you can be a bird. I shouldn't say that I'm tired of seeing her. That's not nice. All right. Need a little water there. So when we think about it, this table is wobbly. Anyway, when we think about this, we look at what happened. And when we look at what happened, I know you got to go. Have fun. If you think about it, her tweezer beak bird worked awesome. All right. My straw beak was absolutely the worst, except in one case. And that's when we went to a liquid food source. Okay. So when you think about it, though, when you think about this, look at this question. And I'm going to have actually everybody kind of type in a response and think about this. So why do different birds have different beaks? But I want you to think about one other question, though, with it. We know that birds eat different foods. Yes, different birds eat different foods. That's correct. But what else would be happening with why birds would need different beak types? So go ahead and type in your thought. Go ahead and type in your thought. Okay, I'm seeing some different thoughts. I'm going to pull some questions. Oh, God. Okay, I've seen a couple good questions. They survive with different diets. Different species need different beak types depending on the size of food they eat. Interesting. Interesting thought. They eat different things in their life.
Laney, unmute yourself. Why are you leaving? Bye.
Okay, I see a lot of different size of food, different bird lifestyles, a lot of those. Yeah, I would agree. When you think about bird food sizes, that's an interesting thought, because if you're a smaller bird, are you really going to eat a lot of really, really big foods? And more than likely, the answer would be no. Okay, so if a bird has the same type of beak and one beak is smaller, it's because of the size of what they eat. Great thoughts. Okay. Some things to think about is, okay, if I'm a crow, okay, I see crows on the side of the road snacking on deer. That's a pretty big animal. But they're not eating the deer live, are they? No, it's usually the dead deer or the dead roadkill on the side. It's kind of an interesting thing. I'm going to kind of jump ahead. I'm going to go to these pictures here real quick. So if I look at all of these, different bird beak types. And everybody really likes this little graphic because it's really interesting and really neat and different. Okay. When you look, crows are scavengers, but they're not true scavengers. They can eat anything. If you look up here, the crow would be more of like a generalist. It has a fairly long pointed beak that can be used to poke and tear. All right, to be a poker and tear, but also if you notice, it looks a lot like an insect catcher beak, kind of a chiseling beak. So it's kind of an all around really good beak to have. All right. If I'm a grain eater like seeds, I've got a short, heavy beak, kind of like well, the nutcrackers, they're almost like a lever to crush it. Insect catchers, large or long and thin. Okay. The interesting ones are things like your scavengers. Sparrows would be your grain eaters and kind of an insect catcher, kind of in the middle. I gotta remember what their beaks look like. It's been such a long time. But the interesting one, okay, look at the toucan. Toucans are basically the only fruit eating type of bird off the top of my head that I know. But if you think about it, look at its beak compared to almost every other beak type. Okay. It is much longer. It's almost like a really, really big crushing hinge. If you ever get a chance to see them in the zoo and watch them eat, they're kind of funny to watch eat. They kind of look like they're gnawing on it. It's a very thick, very crushing thing. And if you realize up in the taller parts of the rainforest where they're basically their home, that's their real food source. They can't get down to the bottom because there's a lot of competition down there and it's hard to fly down there and they can be picked off by something else. But if they're up above, you're able to get to those fruits and can kind of sit there. Obviously, your chiseler, which I don't know how woodpeckers avoid getting such brain damage, but no one ever said woodpeckers are smart. I hear them hitting the side of our metal roofs and sidings sometimes. Raptors are awesome when you look at it. The high eyeballs and the hook on there for tearing. And then you get your cool things that we don't usually see are skimmers and our aerial fishers. Somebody asked about the difference between an aerial fisher and a pursuit fisher. What I would think of it would be like this. Okay, an aerial fisher would be something that would sit along like a lake or a pond and would just dive down in quick and scoop out a smaller fish. Whereas if I'm a pursuit fisherman bird, okay, it would definitely be one of those that might be out in the ocean, if you think about it, because they're going to have to follow those fish that are usually ocean moving fishes are a little bit faster than most. Pond fishes, river fishers don't usually move that fast if you think about what comes out of ponds and lakes and rivers. Okay. Lots of bigger fish, but not very deep or fairly deep, stuff like that. Okay. So always kind of a fun thing. And it's always an interesting thought. And I always kind of bring it to this idea. Okay. If we are all different and unique, okay, we don't all live the same amount of time. And unfortunately, in the world that we're in right now with the virus that's floating around, it's kind of, Lainey Brown is confused. I'll get to your question here, Lainey, a second, because you're confused. All right. So if I think about it in terms of what's going on right now, we've got populations. Some people are not picking up the virus right now that's going around. Some people are. Some people get it and survive. Some people get it and are dying. Okay. Not everybody is going to survive the same amount of time. It's just the way that it is. If you think about even your pets, some pets live for a long time. Some pets, only make it for a short amount of time. Okay. I was just thinking, I've got a couple cats here. One of them we're thinking is in somewhere in the 15, 16, 18 year range. That's a pretty long time for a cat. But I've also my parents have had like dogs that have lived 6, 7, 8 years. Okay. Sometimes that just happens. Okay. Some things are easier to other. And the one other thing that's really, really important to think about is if I am, those of you who are confused, I was talking about different types of birds. If I think about my plate and I think about having, let's say I have worms on here. I might have rambled incoherently. I'm sorry, guys. kind of half asleep today. I apologize. So if I jump here, okay, if I'm here and I've got somebody who has a toothpick and a tweezer, okay, both the toothpick and the tweezer can pick up these worms, right? Okay, there's going to be a lot of fighting over stuff. Even a spoon can, well, it didn't work well. Well, even a spoon can get some things, right? So if I've got a lot of people going after the same thing, I've got a lot of competition. But when I had this cup of water, there was only one that could get this. And that is my strawbird. So the neat thing about it is when you go to why everything has its unique adaptations. Number one, it fits a role in society and in nature that is better for others. And two, it's the most important part, which is eliminating competition. The more you can eliminate competition and not have to directly fight over resources in nature, the better you are. Okay. Unfortunately, Mother Nature isn't nice. It's all about keeping your species alive and having enough food. That's it. Okay. If you eat enough to survive, you can make sure your species doesn't go extinct. Okay. Everything else is butter. Right now, this is like gravy on top of mashed potatoes, on top of something even more delicious. Okay. Having different, oh, yes. As Mr. Floth said, you have a better chance to live if you can eat more than one thing. Absolutely. So you are more around. But also, if you are something that can eat only one thing and nothing else competes with you, then you have that advantage too. Like a hummingbird. Do you know many other birds that can drink the nectar out of flowers? That's the only one that I know of off the top of my head. Okay. So if I am a hummingbird, I don't have to compete with other birds at like a bird feeder. Butterflies, but those aren't birds. Okay. And do butterflies really need a whole lot of stuff? No. Okay. So we're still having some confusion. Okay. Remember, yep, you want to be in competition with as few things as possible so you can have a pick you want to eat. Absolutely. If you think about a bird feeder and bird feed that's out there, it's not all the same seed. Okay. Some birds will go after the sunflowers. Some birds will go after the small seeds. Some will go after the big seeds, all of those things, right? We as human beings, we can eat basically anything that's not poisonous to us and that we choose to eat. If we were really out in nature, okay, we'd have to scrounge and fight for competition. I just happened to be watching something was on National Geographic last night. I don't know why it was on. I think I just sat down and somebody was watching it. It was the people who are in Alaska. It's, I don't know, whatever port protection it is. And it was interesting. The guy was actually digging for clams and he was getting annoyed with the sea otters because the sea otters had basically decimated, meaning it took all the clams out and had eaten all the clams in the clam bed where he usually went to get food. So he is in actually direct competition with the sea otters, even though he could choose to eat about anything else. Kind of a weird thing. Competition in nature is weird. Okay. Competition in nature is weird. The more you can eat, the more of a generalist you are, the more you can eat different things. Right?
I'm gonna go play Fortnite.
Perfect. If you look at it, you can think about all of these different things. Okay. Being a generalist is good. Being good at one specific skill avoids some competition. All right. So that basically is it for today. It's kind of a fun little activity that you can do with others. This is kind of a better activity with more people around. It's better in a class, but it's just kind of what we got. Next week, I forgot to mention this in the third and fourth grade. Next week in the third, or for you guys, you'll need a small seed, a piece of cotton, and maybe a fan nearby. That would be great. And we're going to talk about some seed dispersal, why it's actually good in nature to be able to have seeds spread all over the place and grow annoyingly like weeds. So if you have any questions, go ahead and write them in there. I'm going to go ahead and unmute you guys. Please make sure that we're doing fine. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video. Excellent job today. Thanks, guys. And yeah, find food supplies, talk to families, and play. Oh, it's pick the spoon and dominate. Yes, spoon is dominant. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you guys here real quick. I stopped everything. I'm going to stop the screen here.